World Drum Club. 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 World Drum Club.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Tuesday Museday. right. Welcome, everybody. I apologize if there was a cacophony of echoes at the beginning of the broadcast. I still am working on my settings. And I saw the computer audio was going back into the live stream, I think. Is that what was happening? I don't know. I can't read and play at the same time, you guys. Anyway, welcome back to Tuesday Museday. If it was an echo, I hope it was fun, or at least weird, and on some level, I hope it was musically interesting anyway. I was gonna say satisfying, but I think that would be a stretch if there was actually an echo happening with everything else that's happening. So what is happening, you guys? Thanks for being here. I see some of the usual names and icons and faces. Lacey, Rebecca, Sue, Roseanne, of course, is here, our host and moderator. Cornelius is here. Good to see you guys. Let me grab my phone so I can scroll, because I'm kind of far away from my computer, as you guys know. Chris, welcome. And Rick is here. Alex. Hello. Alex was the first one in on the chat. Very good. Good job. Today's topic is arranging for percussion. I haven't talked about that in a while. And I'm sorry if I get your name wrong. Can I just call you Anne? And I mean, I can't do it. Did I say Lacey? I think so. All right, you guys. All right. There's a conversation going on. I can't read it all right now, but welcome, you guys. All right. So let's stop the background for now. And welcome, everybody. I'm Kalani. This is World Drum Club. Can you believe this is our? I think I've been tracking them pretty well since we started. Tuesday Museday number 32. Is that right? 32, you guys. Let me make sure there isn't sound I'm hearing sound coming out of somewhere. I don't know where it's coming out. Maybe over there. 32. That's a lot. I mean, that's like 2 16-year-olds. No, more than that. No, it's that much. So I don't know where I was going with that, but that's like, you know, like almost two almost adults is what I'm saying, which means we are almost adults in a lot of ways. So today's theme, arranging for percussion. I want to get into it because I thought you guys might want to have some questions and you might want me to play some things or demonstrate some things. So let's do it. I've got a lot of the typical instruments here, right? The standard kind of typical instruments that most people have, right? I've got a cajon, I've got a conga drum, I've got djembe, I've got bongos, right? That kind of covers really the most popular drums. I do have a frame drum down here in case we need it. I also have a doon doon over here. And even though I recommend that people get and play doon doon, a lot of you don't do it. I don't know why. Doon doon is so much fun. I also have tan tan over here, which I love, which is our bass drum. Amazing. So we've got a variety of drums, and then percussion-wise, now can we see? We can see a little in the side view over here. We've got some of the usual things here: blocks, shakers, bells, tambourine. I've got kabasa. I've got the cricket sound, the night. So we've got a few things here, and we'll get to those as we get into the music and the talking about the music. I actually want to keep the talking about the music to a minimum, but if you form any questions along the way, save them for Q&A so we can have all the questions at the same time. That would be helpful for us. So real quick, you guys, so let me outline, what do we mean by arranging for percussion? Now, arranging means two things. One is we arrange music vertically, and I'm using physical terms, visual terms, because we don't have our own terms just for music, unfortunately. Well, maybe timbre, but we have to borrow and steal a lot of other terms from the visual domain, the kinesthetic domain, the auditory domain, but music, I think, should have its own syntax. In any event, we arrange music vertically, which means what's happening all together at the same time, and how do those things relate to one another. And if we think about a score, like an orchestral score, maybe you've seen one of those, there's a huge stack of instruments, and that represents all the instruments in the ensemble. We stack them up, and we usually put, just for notation, we often put the lower instruments at the bottom, like bass, tenor, alto, soprano, right? Would be one example of that. SATB, sopranos have to be first for some reason. I think the basses should be first. First bass. Random reference to Abbott and Costello. All right. So we have what's happening vertically, what's happening at the same time, who's in our ensemble, what are all the instruments there? Are they low instruments, middle, mid-pitched, high, super low, what is it? All right, so we're gonna look at that. And then, of course, arranging also means what happens over time. What happens first, second, third, etc. And that relates to form, but just for the sake of today, we're just talking about what happens over time. We're not going to get too fancy. We're not going to get into a lot of form. So let's take the first aspect of arranging, which is what is our arrangement? Oh my gosh, I've got a really weird sound in my headphones right now. All right, what's happening vertically? So usually I'm just going to take like a kind of a standard percussion ensemble right now. We want to have maybe a bass drum or some low drum, right? And right here, I've got at least 3 great options for that. We can do the cajon, right? Let me go down here. We can do the cajon as a bass, and I even have a mic in back of it to pick up a little more bass. Right? We can do the cajon. We could do the dun-dun, of course, which is over here. I'm going to play it softly because it's a pretty loud drum, but the dun-dun, right? And then, of course, we have the tan-tan. And all of these are really nice bass drum sound. All right, so that provides, it's like the heartbeat. I don't want to be too stereotypical about it, but it's what you feel, right? When you hear the overall rhythm, the bass, of course, I don't have to explain this to you guys. You know what the bass is. The bass is kind of how you feel the rhythm, how you feel the music. It also really often, and I think it should, relate to where you dance, to where you step. So it's typically, if there's only one bass drum or bass sound, it's usually very what we call grounding. And that means it is on your step. It's on your step where you dance. Not on the upbeats, not on the offbeats. It's grounding. So it's the down movement, and it keeps us in the groove. It keeps us in time in a very physical way. And it's great. We like to have that. It's usually simple. It can be a little repetitive, but it's usually not a super long phrase, right? Maybe a bar or two of bass drum pattern. So the bass drum pattern, we want it to be fairly simple. Can be pretty interesting, but if there's just one, we want it just basic, simple. It doesn't have to be just on the steady beat, of course. I mean, you can do that. Nothing wrong with that, but often it implies that, and it's got some little variation to it. So, by the way, at the end of this session, at the end of this kind of description, my goal for you is that you'll have some sense, you'll have some idea of how you can arrange your own drums and percussion instruments for yourself and to make ensembles. And of course, that's aside from listening to everything that's out there in the world, and you can hear a lot of the ensembles, you can see a lot of the arrangements, and you can take them apart, you can copy them, you can emulate them, you can borrow from them. But aside from all that, the established traditional music, I'm giving you some basic concepts that you could apply to whatever you're doing, all right? So that's what the takeaway from today is. All right, let's go up a notch or a pitch into what we could call our low drum sound, not our bass drum sound, but our low drum sound. We're gonna have 2 drums in our imaginary ensemble right now. So a low drum sound would be, again, it could be cajon if I've got a lower bass drum. It could be the conga, of course. It could be the low bongo, right? We're looking at like a lower hand drum sound. And then from there, we've got high hand drum. Let's say, call it the high drum. And you don't even need 2 drums. You could just have 1 drum. So maybe we start off with just a bass drum and then a hand drum. And that could be any of these things: djembe, congas, bongos, even cajon. All right, and then from there, I recommend that you have 3 types of instruments. All right, 3 other instruments. And those would be from our main categories of shakers slash scrapers. So anything that's got kind of a crunchy sound, right? So shaker, tambourine, which is a jingle, kashishi, right? Anything that's got that kind of quality. And we call those concussion instruments. Those are that's one term for them. Concussion instrument is where it's any instrument that makes the sound from parts of the instrument striking each other, right? They concuss, they bash into each other. There's a lot, usually we're talking about either a filling, as in the kashishi. In this case, we've got beads or rocks or something, and we've got a filling. Same with the shaker here, right? And it's inside of a vessel, and they hit themselves and they hit the walls of the instrument, right? So we have all of that going on inside these instruments, the shakers. And then it could be a scraper, which I do have. A similar sound, of course, is the, like a rasper or scraper. Now, even though this is our favorite little frog, right? We like the frogs. Frog rasper. But if you think about it, it's got a similar quality, right? It's got a similar kind of sound quality in the music. It's kind of got a as does the shekere. I'm gonna hold it way away from the mic over here. It's a very loud instrument, the shekere. And you see the shekere has beads on the outside of it, not on the inside. So the stuff that hits each other, that hits together, can be on the inside, it can be on the outside, but it's just banging together, all right? And that's one category. Another category is blocks, you know, different kinds of blocks and wood sounds. Of course, temple blocks, wood blocks, and I would also put clave in this category. These are idiophones. An idiophone is an instrument where the body of the instrument is the sound. In other words, if I strike this temple block, the body of the instrument is making the sound. And it doesn't have a membrane on it. It's not a membranophone. Remembranophone that. Okay. Wood block. And then we'll go to the other category, which is similar. Now, some people might put these in the same category. I'm going to separate them for today. And that is metal sounds, including bells. And these are also idiophones, not that different than the wood, but pretty different sound. And so these are usually higher pitched, right? Not always, but often. But bells also include, you can include triangles, finger cymbals, chimes, that kind of thing. So just because you might ask, the tambourine, what is it? Is it a metal sound or is it a shaker, scraper, concussion instrument? It sounds like both. And I would say yes. I would say yes to that, because a tambourine is a drum where they attached little cymbals. So, and then they lost the drum head on some of them. On this drum, it has little metal rings on the inside. Let me see. See that one? And there's little bells. I don't think these bells do anything, but there's little bells and there's little rings. And so on this instrument, I can play it like a shaker, like a concussion instrument, and of course, also like a drum. So you get both, right? You get two instruments for the price of one. Okay, so those are the main categories, you guys. So let's review. Bass drum, any kind of bass sound. And then we have hand drums. And we can divide those hand drums into low and high. And then we've got shakers, shakers and raspers, shaker scrapers, because they have similar sounds. And then we've got blocks and wood sounds, clave, wood block, tempo block, and then also metal sounds, bells, chimes, triangles, cymbals, all that stuff. All right. So how do we arrange that? Well, one way you can think of it is just low to high, bass drum, pretty simple. Let's do it. I'm going to do it as I talk about it. Let's use the Doon Doon, and I'm going to erase everything I had in here from before. And I want to set up the looper so that all of the loops are the same length, which is going to be 2 bars. Okay, so I just did that. All right, so now all my loops are ready to go. They're all going to be 2 bars long, hopefully. And I'm just going to play something off the top of my head, and we'll put a groove together using the principles that I just mentioned. So we're going to do an arrangement, bass, drum, hand drum, some sort of shaker, some sort of block, and some sort of bell. And so let's do that. Let's do a pretty simple bass drum pattern. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we've got that, right? Pretty basic, not super basic, kind of fun. And now that I have that, I want to think about what's the quality of that? What are the accents? What's the feeling there? Yes, and Rosanna said keep these in mind for Gimme 5. Okay, so let's just pick the conga because it's easy, it's relatable, and it's over here. And so what I want to do now, because I'm composing this, I want to put on the bass drum pattern, and I want to experiment a little. I want to play around and find something that fits with that one, that is complementary. So we'll listen. And then I'm just going to play. Okay, I kind of like that. I kind of like this. Boom, bap, boom, bap, boom, 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 bap, boom, bap, boom, boom, boom. And you notice that it's pretty repetitive, right? It's just a bar long. It's not even 2 bars. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. Right? So I'll record that. We'll put it right next to the bass drum. Let's go. All right. Okay. You guys, when you get your looper or you get some recording equipment and you start trying to do this, you will find out how good, or let me put it this way, how in need of practice you are with regard to your timing. Because the looper don't lie. The recorder doesn't lie. So, all right. So let's move on. We've got these two things, and there's, they're overlapping, but don't they sound like they kind of go together? It sounds like you've got two people that are listening to each other, and they're playing different things, but they're connected. Listen again. Okay, so one of the things I think is kind of missing from this is just something really steady, grounding, just basic, super basic. So I want to add that right now in the, let's do double cachishi. Now I could just do like a super simple, but sometimes I like to do the 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. I'm just going to do that. Let's do it over here. Let's see, can I just go straight in? Let me see. I'm going to start the groove first. I mean, it's super simple, you guys, right? Okay, now I get to have some fun because I've got a block, I got a wood block sound and a bell that I can add. I think I want to use the big bell on this one, but first I'm going to do the block. And when you do the block sound, the wood sounds, I would recommend that you have a little fun. Do something a little syncopated, because we've got the steady thing covered. So we don't need to replicate that. So let's do something a little different, maybe syncopated. In the holes, in the little beats. I like that. Let's do it with reverb. And now complementary with the bell. But we're not going to go crazy with the bell, all right? More cowbell is not always the answer. Now I want to take a second and compose myself. Well, I want to compose the bell rhythm. So I'm going to listen to what I put down on the block, and I want to have something that's sort of a question and answer with that. This is one approach. This isn't, you don't always have to do this, but this is what I'm doing right now. I like that. All right, you guys, I'm pretty happy with that. Sounds like a groovy groove. Now the only thing left is for me to just play over it. And now listen, I'm gonna improvise a little bit. I'm gonna play over this. And what I'd like you guys to do is tune into the different rhythms. And I am going to not just play over the top of this, I am going to attempt to also relate what I'm playing to these patterns. And I will pick and choose. There's so many little things going on in there, right? There's a lot of little patterns in there. And so what I can do now as the improviser, as a soloist, is I get to choose. What do I want to attach my rhythms to? Or what do I want to play off of and juxtapose my rhythms with, okay? So there's different, I can go with things, I can go exactly with them, I can echo them. I can change it up. I can play around them. I can, just reorient everything in there because, well, I'm the only one playing a drum right now. And it's my drum and it's my loop station. These are all my toys. All right, so I'm going to turn the mic down a little. I'm going to play this. And let's turn up the volume a little bit of our instrument. I'm going to try to get a balance here, and then I will play with it. All right, here we go. You guys, all right. Man, that is fun. Okay, let's go back to this view. All right, you guys, does that make sense? Isn't that fun? And I just made up that rhythm right on the spot. It's not traditional stuff. Of course, my playing is influenced by and informed by. I love saying that because it makes you sound like you have a PhD, professional hand drummer. But yeah, of course, anything you play is you're gonna do what you do based on your education, your aesthetics, your preferences, all that stuff. So of course, you could be like, oh yeah, that sounds like this, and that sounds like that, and that sounds like what these people do, and that's, of course. But that was pretty much all just improvised. So, which, improvisation is the way we compose. All right, I just want to be really clear about that, you guys. Improvisation is how people compose music, unless you're Mozart, apparently. I don't know, I can't verify that. But yeah, this is something you guys can do. And I'm just now also, just FYI, I'm working on a live looping or a looping course. Well, anybody who does looping needs to be alive by that's just logical. No, live looping, of course, is what I'm doing here. I'm doing it in front of people. It's live. But you could do looping, at home as a practice, as a way to practice, and just improve your playing. Not just because you can layer a bunch of parts, but because you have to layer a bunch of parts. And what does that do? What does this looping thing do? Well, it makes you elevate your game because you need to get better. You need to have good rhythm, timing, planning, compositional skills, arranging skills. You need to be able to do all of that stuff, to make the loops. So I think looping as a practice, whether you plan on doing looping as a performance or anything, is just a great tool to have. And I know some of you, I know Roseanne's been doing, in fact, Roseanne has her own channel, and she just posted a video on looping, on doing her first loop. Congratulations, by the way. So I'm gonna be adding lessons to the looping course on our Patreon. And so I invite you guys to, if you want, become a patron. And that means, you know, chipping in to this channel and supporting the channel. But also, if you want, you can, very inexpensive, really, when you compare it to other resources that are out there for learning. You can get at the courses tier. If you join at the courses tier, then you get access to all the courses, obviously. Okay, all right, you guys, I've delayed it a little bit, but you know what we have to do. And we're gonna do it right now. Guess the sound! Okay, let's make this quick. Check it out, you guys. All right, what is it? It shouldn't be that hard for you guys, seriously. Any guesses? And then get your Gimme 5 stuff ready. All right, what do you guys think that was? Just a general description, it will be fine. Do-do-do, oh, I wish we had some music while you guys are thinking. Oh! I will not accept shaker. That wouldn't be correct. It's not a rain stick, it's not the frame drum. But good guesses, you guys. Any other guesses? Come on. You guys can make more than one guess. You don't have to just stop after one. Okay, Martello is, I would say, pretty close. Oh, comb, Bill, that's a good guess. It's not, but I like that. Shells in a rope. I'm gonna tell all you guys right now that Martello is pretty close, but I'm not gonna say yes. You're close. Could you try some things in that area? Yes, Cornelius says something you shake. That is true. But so Roseanne said jingle stick. I mean, when we say jingle stick, we really mean like a stick with jingles on it, right? These are not jingles. I wouldn't call these jingles. I'm gonna play it down here. Hold on. I'm just gonna back up one tick. I'm gonna play it. Isn't that nice, though? I mean, it's a great sound. It's an awesome sound. Okay, Bill Bradley says, goat toenails. You know, I mean, kind of. Okay, Alex, it's not sleigh bells. Come on, man. Anamike, is that how you said it? Anamike, you gotta send me how to say it. A vase with shells on the outside. You guys are very close. Oh, you're close. Okay, Martello says seed shell. Seed shell. Let me show you guys. I think you guys are close enough. Check it out. You guys recognize this? I've used it before. I haven't used it in a while. But I love this thing. Don't you love this thing? So it's a handle with the, we call these seed pods. They're little seeds. Let me focus this on. You see? So they are similar to the goat toenails, but they're just tiny and they're not toenails. Check this out, you guys. Here's what I like to do with this. Okay, ready? I'm gonna record something. So I put a little reverb on it. Whoa. All right. Okay, let's go back. And yeah, so it's just this thing. Little seed, the little seed rattle. And yeah, these are awesome. This is an awesome instrument. I like it. I have some of these that are loose too. They're just like ankle pods, we call them, because you can tie them around your ankles or wrists. But this one is set up obviously for playing in a handle way, using our percussive stroke. You don't have to strike it in your hand. In fact, I mean, you can. It's another sound. Then you get two sounds. You get the down and up. So you have some choices with that one. You can also do it this way. All right. So I would say, Marcello, you got the closest. And everyone else, you did not. But that, you know, we're just here to learn. So hopefully you guys, you're having fun. That's the main thing. Okay, it's almost time for Gimme 5, right? Or Q&A. Do you guys have questions? Yeah, ooh, time flies, doesn't it? Okay, and put your Gimme 5 stuff in, make a request. And you guys can select 5 instruments, anything we have here right now, all right? I think there was a question, was it from Lacey? I saw a question about a pandero, was that it? Oh, do I have a Brazilian pandero? I do. In fact, I had some I was selling by Rafael Toledo. And I do have one over there, but I'm not going to get up and get it right now. Oh, it's over here. I could probably reach it if you want to. If anybody wants to put pandero in their Gimme 5, but I do have a Brazilian pandero. I have several actually. I have but the one I got recently from Rafael is a choro style, which is the smaller, lighter ones, and then I have some of the other style, like the Carnival style, which are big, heavy ones. And those are the ones people toss in the air and spin and do all these tricks and stuff. They're like the Harlem Globetrotters of Brazilian music. They're like spinning it down one arm and behind the head and catching it and doing all this stuff. I don't do that because I was practicing that one time. I almost took my ear off. So I decided I like to use my ears more than I like to have it like in a jar. So after getting sliced off by a pandero. So yeah, but I do have some panderos, and I have lessons on World Drum Club. We have Dudu Tucci has a couple pandero lessons on World Drum Club, and yeah, so the answer is yes. Any other questions for me right now before we do Gimme 5? We got to do Gimme 5 pretty soon. Attic Telephone has a question. Nice handle, by the way. Ever tried doing complex electronic treatments for your percussion to make more interesting stuff? I have, and on the looper, I do have some effects that I occasionally will annoy people with. Not annoy people. I will occasionally use some of the processing, post-processing. Well, processing effects. Post-recorded processing. So yeah, for example, let me see what's on here now. I don't even know what the effects are, but let's just take the bass drum, and I'll put an effect on it, see what we have. That's called beat scatter. Let me see what this one is. Here's a flanger. That's kind of cool. What is this one? This is called auto pan. So if you guys are listening in stereo, it's panning back and forth. See, and that would be cool for the, let me stop this. That would be cool on these. I don't know if you guys can hear in stereo right now, but like the bells and the blocks are like going across like this. It's kind of crazy. I decided I don't like that. Let me see what else I have. Oh, and then I have reverb. So I could add reverb. And I can add effects on, multiple effects on each track. All right. So yeah, sometimes I use the effects, not always. All right, we need a Gimme 5, you guys. Example. So Roseanne, I see Roseanne gave you guys an example. It's time. We're running out of time, so we're gonna have a literal Gimme 5. Oh, now it's a Gimme 4 because we have 4 minutes left. Do I hear Gimme 3? Gimme 4 is okay. You guys don't have to pick 5 things. In fact, you could pick, you know, a couple. All right. How many types of pandero are there in Brazilian music? How many types? Well, it depends on the music. I mean, there's a few. I would say there's the big, like samba style panderos. There's a little bit smaller ones that people, and those are the ones that people just kind of use for acrobatic stuff. They don't really play them as much. They're mostly for show. And then we have smaller ones, which they do play. Then we have the choro style, which are the very light ones that are that you play the crap out of. Those are like little surfboard versions. Very nimble. Cornelius was asking how to practice instruments. You know, I do have a video on how I practice or how I approach practicing on the channel. That's a big topic. Let's. I want to remember that one, but we got to set that aside. For today, I need a Gimme 5. So, okay. So, attic telephone. You're it. What is it? Flanger treated seed rattles. It sounds like we're about to order at a like some highbrow restaurant, doesn't it? Tonight we're featuring flanger treated seed rattles, wood blocks, a shiko, we'll call that djembe, and flanger treated kalimba and pandero. Okay, well, I don't have the kalimba here, and I'm not going to get the pandero out right now. So I will reserve the right to substitute a couple instruments. I don't know what I can grab. Let me see if I can grab something off the shelf over here. I want to get to it because we're running out of time. So, okay, let me try. We got to do this. Got to go quick, you guys. Oh, we'll go a little over. It's fine. I just don't want to, I don't want to encourage you guys to think we're going to go late all the time. All right, I'm going to use this little D minor tingatong instead of the kalimba. But there we go. And let me make some room up here. I've got the seed rattle ready. And we've got djembe and, did you say cowbell? Wood blocks. All right, close enough. All right, I'll do my best. Here we go. Let's see. Let's change the tempo a little bit. And we'll do dance tempo, you guys. Are you guys ready? All right. Am I ready? I think I am. Boop. All right. All right, here we go. dropping in, you guys. Thanks for all your suggestions. Appreciate you guys dropping in today. And have a beautiful day or evening, wherever you are. I'm going to leave you with this little groove we got going here. All right, see me at Patreon if you like. Remember, we've got all sorts of stuff over there. Lessons, courses, Zoom events, Facebook group, patreon.com/Kalani. Thanks, you guys. This is Gimme 5. I'm going to let this groove out a little bit. Thank you for showing up. Thanks to all the new people for showing up. And thank you to everybody who's a patron. And if you are a patron, can you give us a thumbs up in the comments right now? And encourage everybody to join the World Drum Club family. Appreciate you. We'll see you next week. See you guys.
World Drum Club.